Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carl Bush. I'm proud to say that during my tenure as an attorney, I have a track record of representing Latino clients in court on a variety of matters, everything from employment discrimination to criminal defense and to other legal matters. And ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you, in representing Latinos, I have learned a lot. I have learned that Latinos are hard-working people. I have learned they pay their bills on time. I have learned that they value their family and their faith, ladies and gentlemen, and that's a grand American tradition. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've learned a lot in courts of law, but I learned a lot more, ladies and gentlemen, in the real world, in a peach orchard in Johnson County, Arkansas, because I learned more about Latinos and the Latino culture there than I could have ever learned here today. Ladies and gentlemen, when I was first hired to pick peaches in Clarksville, Arkansas, I was told I would make 50 cents a bushel box. And being young and dumb, just 15 years old, I assumed I would just roar in there and I would pick 50 to 100 bushels a day. I didn't quite understand the real world of picking peaches. Now, I will tell you, I came to work on my first day, and I loaded into the back of a pickup bed with my fellow workers, all of whom were Latino except for me, and we headed out to the peach orchards. And I began to pick, and I picked my first bushel box. And when I picked it, the row boss walked up, took a look at it, and told me in no uncertain terms I wasn't going to get paid for it because the peaches were too green. I am somewhat embarrassed to report to you that my first day of work picking peaches, I picked a grand total of 15 bushels of peaches, at least that I got paid for. And I made a grand whopping total of $7.50 in 8 hours of work. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you've picked peaches, you know that you pick peaches in the summertime, you get that peach fuzz all over you. It doesn't wash off on one shower or one bath, and it's very hard work. And I have to tell you, I came away from the day with a real heavy dose of reality, realizing how hard it was. And ladies and gentlemen, I looked around at the end of the day and I saw my Latino co-workers reporting to get paid, and they had put two of them, Alfonso and Jesus, I remember those two gentlemen like I remember yesterday, had picked a total of anywhere from 60 to 70 bushels of peaches. And I'm thinking, how do they do it? Well, they taught me how they do it, ladies and gentlemen. I learned a lot from Alfonso and Jesus. I am happy to report that I did get to the point where I could pick 40 to 50 bushels a day. That experience meant a lot to me. I will tell you, it meant so much that I returned to the peach orchards the next summer when I was 16 years old. I really learned more about Latinos and their work ethic and the positive things they bring to our society, not in a courtroom, in the real world, in the peach orchards of Johnson County, Arkansas. And what I learned is this: Latinos have a vibrant culture. They have a high work ethic, incredibly hardworking individuals, and they value their family and their faith. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know as Latinos in American society, you've heard the criticism. You've heard the calls for deportation. But ladies and gentlemen, more Americans experienced what I experienced, which is to observe and learn the value that Latinos bring to our economy and to our society, the work ethic they have. And more Americans appreciate your contribution than you may realize. Ladies and gentlemen, I came from modest circumstances, and I realize your children may come from modest circumstances. Just like me, they can become a lawyer, they can become a doctor, they can become a teacher, they can become a pastor, they can live the American dream. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today.